Axillary artery, 20 questions and answers. Is the axillary artery the continuation of the subclavian artery? Yes, the axillary artery is the continuation of the subclavian artery. Does the axillary artery begin at the lateral margin of the first rib? Yes, the axillary artery begins at the lateral margin of the first rib. Does the axillary vein accompany the axillary artery along its course? Yes, the axillary vein accompanies the axillary artery along its course. Does the axillary artery continue in the upper limb as the brachial artery? Yes, the axillary artery continues in the upper limb as the brachial artery. Does the axillary artery become the brachial artery after passing the lower margin of the teres major muscle? Yes, the axillary artery becomes the brachial artery after passing the lower margin of the teres major muscle. Is the axillary artery divided into 3 parts? Yes, the axillary artery is divided into 3 parts. Are the 3 parts of the axillary artery based on its relation to the pectoralis minor muscle? Yes, the 3 parts of the axillary artery are based on its relation to the pectoralis minor muscle. Is the pectoralis minor muscle superficial to the axillary artery? Yes, the pectoralis minor muscle is superficial to the axillary artery. Is the first part of the axillary artery medial to the pectoralis minor muscle? Yes, the first part of the axillary artery is medial to the pectoralis minor muscle. Is the second part of the axillary artery posterior to the pectoralis minor muscle? Yes, the second part of the axillary artery is posterior to the pectoralis minor muscle. Is the third part of the axillary artery lateral to the pectoralis minor muscle? Yes, the third part of the axillary artery is lateral to the pectoralis minor muscle. Does the axillary artery give off branches? Yes, the axillary artery gives off branches. Do all 3 parts of the axillary artery give off branches? Yes, all 3 parts of the axillary artery give off branches. How many arteries arise from the axillary artery? 6 arteries arise from the axillary artery. How many arteries arise from the first part of the axillary artery? 1 artery arises from the first part of the axillary artery. 1 artery arises from the first part of the axillary artery. Name the artery. Superior thoracic artery is the one and only artery that arises from the first part of the axillary artery. How many arteries arise from the second part of the axillary artery? Two arteries arise from the second part of the axillary artery. Two arteries arise from the second part of the axillary artery. Name the two arteries. Thoracoacromial artery and the lateral thoracic artery are the two arteries that arise from the second part of the axillary artery. How many arteries arise from the third part of the axillary artery? 3 arteries arise from the third part of the axillary artery. 3 arteries arise from the third part of the axillary artery. Name the 3 arteries. Subscapular artery, anterior humeral circumflex artery, and posterior humeral circumflex artery are the 3 arteries that arise from the third part of the axillary artery.